Three poems for Ursula. The first set in Wiltshire, where we first met. It's called Hill Walk. If I lived in a bigger house, I would write better poems. I would find a room for every mood, and looking out find different kinds of solace. Tonight, for example, I wanted to write about the hill sequence where Ursula and I had walked today, and in our walking as well as holding hands, we had opened for the first time this year our windowed minds to nature. But coming back here, there were the chores to do, the cooking and the washing up, the lighting of a fire, even the logs had to be halved to fit the tiny grate. So we sit, half bemused by dusk, ignorant of television, knowing the lark is still singing valiantly, and we recall the redbreast beloved, redbreast our winter's ally, like ourselves bemused that today so much was going on. For today came the wren, today came the partridge, and as if to make a metaphor of our senses, a few landed water hens running in their silly way. Coming upstairs then to write this poem, in the half light of a dewy April evening, I see the hawthorn tree next door has burst into flower. There is no doubt my step upon the stair follows its ascension. I am triumphant on the lintel step of my study. Yet coming into this narrow, fusty room, I must keep in my memory's eye the broad expanse where we walked today, how we rose above birdsong, saw to the south Westbury, and to the north the beginnings of Swindon. There was no compression. Yet to type these words, I have to call into this tiny, high-windowed room a long walk along the world's ridges. And where is Ursula? The poem, designed to be about a unity in its creation, divides. Next door a man bickers with his wife, she with her child. There seems no point, except perhaps not to lose a feeling of what happened this early afternoon, a memory not of the sky, nor of the great descending hills, nor tiny wren, but of how we felt majestic, free, and a part of an undying possibility. Now this second poem is set in London, in Vauxhall. Personal poem, Ursula's Season. Written for people who ask us how we are. Here, in memory and foreboding of brooding days of winter, we find lightness in this October mist that hangs like a wedding veil across the face of Vauxhall Park. Here we have watched the seasons turn, praised the park gardeners, well, perhaps we were too optimistic in spring, too spendthrift in the summer, yet we have remarked, amazed, at how intensely we love each other, and in such a delightful setting. So here in this cloaked to a nicety Victorian sepia autumn movie, we sometimes play slapstick games in and out of a gazebo which looks back at 100 dreary schools. We also play tennis and swim together. Now the third poem I wrote actually inside the flat where we lived in Vauxhall. Meadow Road. It's called Ruin. The geraniums you potted on our windowsill have now become a flowering album of our travels. We saw them everywhere. Do you remember? In so many different countries, suddenly lighting up a landscape, or making a quite ordinary courtyard force us both to catch our breath. In them also resides a dream that one day you and I might buy a ruin, do it up, and in its courtyard plant 100 of such red geraniums that so, in time, two younger lovers will walk by, kiss and murmur in our courtyard, say, how happy must the people be who live behind the flowers. You might come out startled by this impertinent intrusion. Then I will remind you of how we used to talk about people like us so many years ago. So, thank you, Ursula. The poems are, two of them at least, from this collection, Van Gogh and Brixton, published by Muswell Press. So again, thank you for everything.